Hi, everybody. This is Mark Salisbury at TuitionFit, and I am here today with Russ Vitale from New Jersey. Russ, how did you get into being a college search planner?
Well, so I started 17 years ago, and I realized a long time ago, I started as a financial advisor and financial planner. And I got in front of a lot of families, and obviously one of the biggest things they were concerned about was college expenditures, right? So, we talked about their retirement, we talked about a bunch of things, a reserve and all these different kind of things, which are the basics for financial, but the college thing, especially when they had multiple children, was something that was really weighing very heavily on them. They were stressed out about it and they felt overwhelmed. And to be honest with you, they actually felt very uneducated on the whole process and the details. So I felt that there was a definite need to make sure that people were efficient with the time, energy, and monies that they allocate towards the whole process. And obviously, after their child gets accepted, to make sure that they had options.
Yeah, and it's a big part of the process to sort of like, okay, you've saved all this money. Well, now how do you gonna spend it, right?
Well, and that's assuming obviously that people have saved the money as well, right? So there's a big thing. So I mean, I always tell people you never do anything solely for a college benefit, only because you really don't know at the end of the day how it's such a subjective and unknown and uncertain animal that you're dealing with, right? So being educated and having the right information to be able to make intelligent choices relative to the college expenditures that you're going to be incurring over 4, 8, 12, however many years, with no matter how many children you have, depending on that, is really very important. And I also find, Mark, that a lot of parents almost feel a little bit guilty sometimes about doing the monetary evaluation of colleges because it's for their child and they want to invest. And I have to tell you, as somebody who has advised thousands of families over the last 17 years, but also even for my own child, I had to go through that as well. And at the end of the day, I really came down to there's so many great schools out there and so many great choices. Why not be smart, educated, become an educated college consumer and really know what your options are? So at least you don't always have to go for the cheapest school. That's fine. But it's like anything else in life. Become educated on the process, know what your options are holistically, and then be able to make a smart decision.
And you're talking about a thing that you and I have discussed in the past with the real lack of college price transparency out there. What does that look like in your experience when you're working with families and they can't find out what the actual prices are?
Well, it's incredibly frustrating for families, right? Because it's such a hodgepodge of things, and depending, even the EFC calculators and different things, people don't understand, and some work better than others, and people get, erroneous information. And, I do financial aid counseling with my clients, but a lot of people want the other services that I do as far as, putting their college list together and class choices and essays, applications, all that stuff. And they're kind of a little hesitant sometimes about financial because they don't want to disclose that information, or it's kind of bring us to another level of the relationship, right? So I offer it to everybody, but I don't push. But it's very frustrating then for even me as a college advisor and counselor that at the end, when I offer these things, they sometimes come back and go, wait, I don't understand. We thought we were going to get this, or thought we were going to get something and we got nothing. What do we do? And that's the saddest thing that I see printed and published all over these different websites and Facebook groups and all this stuff. It's heartbreaking to me to see families say, oh my goodness, my child got into their dream school, but we can't afford it. And I just think that students shouldn't work as hard as they do to have that as an end result. And the fact that it could be avoided with the right information and the right tools, if people just knew about it. And also, by the way, if colleges were actually upfront about it, that would have been nice too.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why I think TuitionFit is such a great tool.
So tell me more about how you've used TuitionFit in any particular situation with a family or a student, and how that changed the conversation.
Well, it changes the conversation for the, so I do, again, I have experience now of 17 years. So I've been doing this for a while. So my first couple of years, I kind of didn't want to broach the subject, but so many families still came back and said, well, they were either, wow, I can't believe it, like we just said, or they're like, I'm writing the check, but man, this thing hurts, like, so I decided a long time ago, probably about 15, 14 years ago, that I was going to have the financial conversation with every family that I worked with and let them say, no, we're good. We don't need this. So when I put a college list together, I absolutely take the financial aspect into high consideration when I make recommendations. So that way, at the end, they have more affordable, more reasonable schools that they can at least consider. They can always turn them down, but if you don't apply to them, you don't have them as the option in the first place. Okay. But I find that I've used TuitionFit a whole lot, and honestly, a little bit more on my end of things to validate what I think is true when I'm making recommendations for schools. Because I know, again, all the years of doing this, but things change. And also, even the different databases and different access points that I've used, those aren't always the most accurate. And, and every year things change a little bit. So TuitionFit has been a great tool to be able to not just hypothesize and guess, but actually say, hey, you know what? Students who look kind of like this student have gotten these kind of offers. And it gives you an understanding of what you're getting into before you apply, which to me is so key, before in big letters, right? But also from a negotiation standpoint, even afterwards.
Right.
So I've use it, but I don't honestly, I don't use it with the students at all, because I personally, and even though the FAFSA is also driven to as if the student is filling it out, I think that's ridiculous. Yeah. The parents are the ones that care about the money, right? So, and also they're the ones that can answer the questions and they can understand it as well. So I don't even have the conversation with the student. In all honesty, too, most parents don't even want the student involved. So all my conversation is either direct with the parents to show them numbers and to show them what they can expect so they can be educated. Or if they say, you know what, Russ, really, okay, I still use TuitionFit as what I'll call a back office tool for me to be able to validate and make sure the recommendations I make are good options for them, less expensive options, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what we built it for. And thanks, Russ, for taking the time to chat. I really appreciate it. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing, because I know you're making a difference in families' lives.
We try. I love what I do. I'm very passionate about it. And honestly, I'm so excited and happy that I actually found you in TuitionFit, because it's been a great tool.
Thanks a lot. You take care. Have a great day.
You too. Take care.